Who came up with this? I mean, it looks cool on the poster, but when you try to pronounce it, it's something totally different. So this movie is a time travel machine. Going into the first action set piece, it felt like a movie from the late 80s. Apart from the actors, Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone, and all the other actors, it just had that look and feel, of an 80s. It was structured like an 80s movie. That Libya scene felt like something from the 80s. And I was like, come on, this has to be better than the first movie, because I really loved the first Expendable movie. And so, by the end of the film, I felt like this was more of, we are giving you this money, but all the money is going to pay the actors. It doesn't feel like they paid the writers enough for this. It doesn't feel that the writers were given, an opportunity to actually craft something good. The story feels smaller, it feels more contained, it feels that they were cutting corners in order to save the budget. I mean, the Libya scene, it's more of big warehouse, and everything feels like it feels industrial. It feels like they saw something somewhere and they went like, it would be probably cheaper to shoot here. And then on the ship, it also feels like they went into it and thought, how can we shoot here and make it as cheap as possible? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Now, in terms of story, this is a Jason Statham movie. If you love Jason Statham, if you love the Expendable movies, if you love the first one to the third one, you'll probably have fun with this. If you're not fan of that style of action, this is not the movie for you. Don't waste your money, because the one thing that doesn't work for this movie is that it feels like a Netflix movie. This is below the first Extraction movie. The second Extraction movie is way better than this. The first Extraction movie is way better than this. This just feels slightly below that. There's something lacking about it. The way in Extraction 2 you had that scene whereby Chris Hemsworth is on a train and then he just gets a minigun and just shreds an helicopter that is chasing them. That chase scene in the trees, and the camera moves inside the car, goes into the bikes, and then the bikes flip. Another scene in the building and they're fighting on top, and then there's the glass, and then the glass is breaking and someone is trying to... When you think of Extraction 2, you think of those moments. When you think of these Expendable movies, you cannot think of any scene. There's no scene that you went like, oh my goodness, that scene was epic. Despite the fact that they had three of the best action stars that we have today. Two of which are from Asia. Tony Jaa, and the guy from Raid. They had those two guys, man, and they had Jason Statham. And still, they were not able to give us any substantial, fight scene or action set piece. And the close-ups with the fight scenes don't really help. But just in terms of entertainment, this is a movie that I regret paying for in the cinemas. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it was not a cinematic experience in how it's shot, in how it's written, in how it's scored. It feels like something that belonged on streaming rather than the cinemas. So if I was to advise you, is if you're looking out, if you're an action fan, if you love Jason Statham, because this is not a Stallone movie. They do something with Stallone and I was like, wow, that's bold. And then, at the end of it all, they go like, oh, and then you go like, come on. At first I was like, I like that you had the guts to do that, but at the end I was like, oh, great, fantastic. It just had to be this shallow. Yeah, so if you love Jason Statham specifically because he is the heart and soul of this particular story. He's the one that we follow through. He's the one on a revenge mission. He's the one who actually, something happens to the team when they get to the ship. He's the one who makes everything happen. So if you love Jason Statham, if you love the Expendable movies, this will work for you. If you don't, wait for it on streaming. It will work better on a smaller screen. Oh, because of the CGI. Actually, that's something that I don't want to mention. The CGI is also dodgy, but it will really work on a small screen. So that's basically it. If I was to give this out of 5, I would give this a 2.5 out of 5. It's an enjoyable movie, but they could have done better. There were so many opportunities to do a great job, but they, it's okay, but it's not as good as it could be. It's definitely not the strongest in all of them. It would be like the third film, but it's way no, I think it's the weakest. I think this is the weakest. When I actually think about it, it's not as strong as the third one, and it does not come close to the second one, despite the R rating. I don't think they even utilize the R rating. But if you just love action movie for the sake of action, and you can actually handle a bit of boredom within the second act, yeah, this will work for you. So basically that's it. That's my review. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. Please, I invite you to subscribe to my channel for more reviews, because after this, because I saw a haunting in Venus, and saw Expendables, and also saw Outlaw Johnny Black, and I will be reviewing them soon. I will invite you to kindly subscribe. So basically that's it. Watch what you enjoy what you watch, and I shall see you on the next one.